Titans coming off a loss, facing the Melbourne Storm, coming off another massive loss to the Bulldogs. Talk to me about this Gold Coast Titans lineup.
Yeah, we still got AJ Brimson in the fullback role with AKP and Philip Sammy in the wing position, Brian Kelly and Aaron Schlupp in the centre positions with Kieran Foran named still with Tanner Boyd in the halves pairing. You got MF and Big Tino in the forward pack role with Chris Randall in the hooker position, David Fafita and Joe Simpson in the back row position, and Isaac Liu in the lock position with Jaden Campbell, Eric Clark, Joe Avune, and Isaac. I think that's his brother, Big Isaac. I'm going to call him now in the bench position with Sam McIntyre to make the 18 jersey role. And as I think you've touched on, this is going to be a big game because one of these teams is going to be come out of it with a 2-1 record and a 1-2 record on the losses there. So Melbourne don't usually play poorly in back-to-back games, nor do they really lose that badly in back-to-back games, regardless of whoever they come up against. So it'll be quite interesting to see. Look, Gold Coast didn't look too bad last week. They jumped out early. They played great footy, but an extra week rested Dragon side, they couldn't contend, and being at Cogrove, I couldn't help them either. So I think that's where they ultimately were let down.
Yeah, 100%. Now, obviously, I think the major talking points here, obviously, Brian Kelly does come back in. He has served his 4-month suspension that he did get from the Knights last round in 24. So that man on the screen, he's fresh. He's been training the house down, getting ready for this game where he knew he could return. But for me, a big loss for this Titans side, it is Sam Verrills. And I've got to say, what a tough motherfucker. He 40 at a stinner last round. He played with a fractured collarbone. And I've done both my collarbones. The slightest movement, it pinches and it feels like it's tearing you apart. So for him to come back out there and for him to finish that game, what a tough player. He's already fighting for the badge, but they will miss him for a few weeks, but he is replaced by obviously Chris Randall. So we joked about why do they need Chris Randall? Boom. They've solved that problem. So massive ins for them, but let's move on to their opponent. It is the Melbourne Storm now. The big talking points, Justin Olam, he's named. Will he play? We're not 100% sure, but he's definitely named. And I think it was initially expected around 5 or 6 that he was meant to be back. He's back now. Xavier Coates, shoulder injury, he's back. So Tariq Sims on the bench. They've got all these players coming back. They're looking strong, but obviously Nick Meaney, Will Warbrick, Remus Smith, Justin Olam, Xavier Coates, Tyron Richard is still in, obviously, for their injuries. Jerome Hughes, TK, Harry Grant, Christian Welsh, Trent Leoro, Alicia Katoa, Josh Kinn, Jonah Perez, Alec MacDonald. Tariq Sims makes his Storm debut off the bench. Jordan Grant in 17 and Grant Anderson in 18 now. They're welcoming back a lot of players. They still obviously don't have Cameron Munster. They don't have Pappenhausen, but I look at this lineup and I'm now a lot more scared of this Melbourne Storm side than I was last week. So what do you make of this side? What do you make of the inclusions of Olam, which, again, he was meant to still be out till around 5 or 6. Xavier Coates, he's coming off an injury. Did they rush them back because we're finally, for the first time in years, seeing Melbourne Storm stress and Craig Bellamy stress? Or is this just a, boys, we're okay, we're at 90%, let's get in there and let's play?
Yeah, no, the Storm of old would have been 2-0 already coming into this game, and they could have afforded to extra rest like Justin Olam, give him an extra couple of weeks, and they would have realised, because the Titans of old would have been in the opposite position and been very, very weak when it came to their defence. So that they're slightly changed around, in a way. So, yeah, maybe they've rushed Xavier Coates and Justin Olam back a little bit earlier. But, again, we'll have to wait and see on those outcomes because they could come out of the park. They could come out and blow us away off the park. Tariq Sims, mate, there was a reason why they bought him, and he's finally getting his debut in round 3 against the Titans. It'd be good to see. Hopefully, the boys get up for him as well. Harry Grant, Kristen Walsh with Dream Hughes need to really lay the platform early. These quick play the balls, give it to the forwards, and just make quick meters through the middle to get this roll-on effect if they want to get up and away with this game to be 2-1 after this weekend, which I will predict they will in a very, very close one, 1-12.
Yeah, I kind of think, like we said, we spoke about how Bulldogs bounce back against Melbourne. I think if there's a team that you're going to be scared of after a loss, it's going to be Melbourne Storm getting coached by Craig Bellamy, regardless of the team he puts out on the park. So I'm going to go one further. I think Sam Verrills is a massive, massive loss for the Titans. I'm going to go these guys to bounce back with a 13+. I think having Tarek Sims, having Justin Olam, having Xavier Coates, it kind of lays the platform where that Tyrone Wishart maybe doesn't have to do as much with the ball this week. He can kind of relax a little bit and let the likes of Olam, Grant, Sims, when he comes off the bench, kind of take charge. So I think it's going to be an interesting game. I do think that they get that 13+, and we're going to leave it there, 1-12, 13+. But